Hello all you cool mums out there. I understand you want my secret recipe for the chili, so we'll start. First thing you need actually is a really nice kitchen from Carne Cabinets. See Brady down there, he'll sort you out. Just run you through the ingredients quickly. Gravy beef for chuck steak, so we'll be doing a mix of that today. This is actually a pretty big batch, so scale I'll worry about later. So I've had Jack dice up some brown onions. That's 2 onions, about 1.5 big capsicum. You can just use tin tomatoes. I'm going to use a mix of tin and fresh tomatoes today. 4 bean and kidney beans. And before we do all that, we'll just need to toast up some cumin seeds, coriander seeds. We'll toast them up in the fry pan over here and then ground them up in the mortar and pestle. And I'll do at least half a packet each of those. So you want to toast the seeds up, ladies, just move them around a little bit, put them on the burn. Just do it till you can smell a nice aroma. Not on 7 all the way, just turn that down a bit once it gets going, and just toss them around, make sure they don't burn, and there you go. Okay, so with those brown onions, we've just got this in a pressure cooker at the moment. You've got to brown those off. Jamie, film the onions, thank you. But you can do that in a fry pan and then throw them into a slow cooker if you don't have a pressure cooker, or you could do it on the stove on low heat, but it'll take ages. And then we've got our spices all ground up after I've toasted them there. And then what we'll do is just dip the meat in there, either side, like that. Throw it in the fry pan. And we'll just toast that off. You just want to brown the meat a little bit, and the spices will sear into the meat. Toasting the spices just releases the oils in the spices and just gives it a stronger flavour. So this is only about 1/3 of the meat that I'll actually do for the whole cook. So just leave it whole, because once you throw it in the pressure cooker or the slow cooker, it will break down, and then you'll be able to shred it like you would have enjoyed it down there in Mullen or wherever it was you were. So you want to get a bit of colour on the meat. That's what's going to give it the flavour later on. So Jamie, we'll go back and have a quick look at the onions here. Just give that a stir. Make sure you're keeping an eye on everything. Especially if you're doing them in the fry pan, you can burn them pretty easy. Also ground up probably about a tablespoon of black pepper and a tablespoon of salt as a minimum, and then you can always season it later on. You can't have too much black pepper. Pause. Alright, the other thing is chili. Obviously it's a chili. This one's for the family, so it's not going to be too hot. So I've just got one red and one green chili there. And so I'll throw that in with the onions. If you don't want that to be too hot, throw it in at the start when you first do the onions. And around about this time, you throw your garlic in as well. This is just a little sheet here. If you can't be bothered doing your cloves of garlic, smash them up. This gourmet garden one's great. Don't be shy with the garlic. I'd normally do at least that much if I was going to do it fresh, probably a couple more bigger cloves. So stir that all up. You just want to cook off the garlic, especially if you're doing it fresh. You don't want that raw garlic flavour. Just let that continue to brown. And so once all that cooked off a little bit, we'll be ready to throw the meat in. So as I said, that meat I just cooked was only half of it. I'm going to put all of this in as well. So it's going to be a pretty big batch. So that's chuck steak. Just make sure the onions don't burn. Smells very nice. So the other spices, apart from salt, pepper, coriander and cumin, is either cayenne pepper or chili powder. Again, I'm doing this for the family, so I'm not going to really put too much of either of that in. The cayenne especially is really hot. If I was doing it for myself, I'd put more chili in and more cayenne pepper. So James, just get a look at that there. That's pretty much ready to go. Keep browning off on the bottom. You can see, coming over the top, Jimbo, the colour of the meat. Sort of brown it off. You don't want to burn the spices. Just get that nice bit of colour. That's what will give it the flavour. So we'll throw all of that in. Actually get all that juice. Okay, right, so we're almost ready to finalise everything in the pressure cooker here. Just a few more ingredients. Stock, you just want one of these. These are like the best beef stock you can get, just one of those. Throw that in there. They're pretty salty, so you don't need too much salt. Throw in the salt and pepper that I showed you earlier. Looks like a lot of salt, but it's mostly pepper. We've got the steak all finished now, so that's about as good as you want it, maybe a little bit more. And then any of those spices you've got left over, there you go. In with the tin of tomatoes. As I said, I'd normally do probably 2 tins, but because I'm doing some fresh tomatoes as well, just dice these up as so, without slicing your fingers off. Because they're going in the pressure cooker, they're going to get blasted anyway, so it doesn't need to be too precise. So all that goes in. A couple of tablespoons of tomato paste. And so we're going to put the corn and the beans in afterwards, because it's going in the pressure cooker, that'll just blast all that to mush. So the last things to go in will be the corn, the beans and the capsicum, and that'll be after we've put it in the pressure cooker for about 25 minutes. So basically the pressure cooker will just tenderise the meat, and then we'll take that out and string it. I'll show you that shortly. So I'm just going to put about a cup of water in there as well because of the stock and the paste. But you don't want to add too much water into the pressure cooker because everything in there stays in there, nothing escapes. Alright, so we'll throw the lid on there. Okay, so we're done with the pressure cooker now. 30 minutes. And what we want, hopefully, is for it to be ready to be pulled apart. Whoop, ow! Don't want to drop it back in the hot. Yeah, it's pulling apart, that's good. So just grab a fork, just pull the meat apart. And then we'll throw that back in there with the kidney beans and the corn caps. I've shredded all the beef now, thrown it back into the juice, and now we'll add the beans. So that's 1 tin of 4 bean mix, 1 tin of pretty sad looking kidney beans. Don't buy the dirty edgel ones anymore. Look at the nice organic ones. Look at the colour difference, go for those ones. And then this is 2.5 fresh sweet corn. Hands fully been sanitised, by the way. And the caps. Just give that a big stir around. So at this point, you can either throw it back in the pressure cooker for about 5 or 10 minutes, or you could just boil it as it is in there. So if it's in the slow cooker, obviously you just throw all those fresh ingredients in at the end and probably do another 20 minutes. I'll probably just leave that going for 20 minutes, and then it'll be ready to go. Okay, so here we have it dished up. You can have it with baguette.